Got water boiling in this stainless steel water bottle here. The Glock sticker and the USMC sticker. And how many times have you boiled water in this?
I've had this thing for years. I mean, probably 100 times, I would guess. I mean, I've used
100 times, give or take. I mean, even if it was 50.
Yeah.
He's boiled water in the fire, and those stickers have not burned off. Someone please explain to me why that is. What's your theory?
The theory, like you can boil water in a styrofoam cup. The cup won't melt if it has water in it. So I don't know if the water being in it has something to do with the stickers.
If it was a Navy sticker.
Oh, if it was a Navy sticker, it wouldn't even have stuck to the stainless steel. It would have just fell right off.
I can keep all of my tinder in a shemag. Oh, watch out, watch out, watch out. Perfect. That's what we want anyway.
We need the top.
So we want this right here. So you want to use it between the whorls. We don't want the whorl. I would say, you know, between 12, 16 inches long, something like that, and that'll be perfect. I ever think that I'm gonna do a friction fire for real in real life? If that's the case, then I've messed up on a lot of levels, really, really poorly. Like I've done a bad thing. Yeah. Or I've been dumped off in the middle of nowhere by the drug cartels in Mexico. Yeah. Like that could be a thing. But I think doing this gives you confidence, gives you it gives you an ownership of something that very few people possess now. So one of the best ways to damage a knife is to baton through one of the whorls on a pine tree. And that's what you get right there. Physical training, as much as you can, to be harder, more difficult, more challenging than the real thing.
Right, yeah.
So when the real thing happens, it's like,
yeah,
okay, no big deal. Well, that's the thing though, like a lot of people think, oh yeah, I'll head out to the woods and I can make a friction fire. The Native Americans didn't do that.
No,
they made their kit.
Holy!
They made their kit and they used their kit when needed, and when they wore it out, they made a new one and they kept it with them. They kept it dry and safe. And I want to make an indentation where my spindle is going to go, where it's going to seat. So if I measure it out, I want it to be the center of the hole, probably right about there-ish. I don't want it too close to the edge because it'll hop out. I want it kind of close though. And then I'll just take the tip of my knife and I'll waller out a little indentation. It doesn't have to be pretty, it doesn't have to be perfect. It just needs to be something to keep the tip of my spindle from flopping out of there.
You can gauge how deep you want it to bite. You can move it as you go, and you can do finer, faster little stuff. You're just planing it down.
You need to get rid of that shoulder.
Okay.
Because what's going to happen is you're gonna push down this, you're gonna flatten it, and then it's gonna have too much friction on the top.
Got it.
So this is a little bit long of a spindle, but that's okay. But what I want to do is try to lock my wrist into my shin. Right now it's on my kneecap because it's just so long. But if I lock that into my shin, it's not gonna move because if this is moving, you're gonna have a lot of problems.
This is my spindle. There are many like it, but this one is mine.
This one is mine. Something like that is what we want. I used to use a saw for this, but the reason you don't want to use a saw, or it's not as good as a saw, because a saw leaves a rough edge. It leaves a rough side walls of that notch, and your coal will get stuck, and it won't fall freely out of the notch. And that'll make more sense as you do it. But if you use a knife, and the way I use the knife is I just cut one side, and then I spin it around to my mark, and then I'll pop that piece out. Quick tip, man.
Yep.
This is moving way too much. You need to get this locked into your shin. So that means this needs to be here. Closer, much closer. Without getting it wet, obviously.
Yep.
Does that feel better?
Oh, yeah.
Pointy end in your hand, go to the inside and loop it around. But I can tell you right now that this is way too loose.
Yeah, I know.
I'm not a huge Scandinavian grind guy, but there is a purpose for them because they're really sharp and they're good for detailed, delicate work like this. And if you look at this notch, I don't know if you can see that. See, it's kind of rough and jagged looking. See what I'm talking about, Nate? Mm-hmm. I want to make that as smooth and as clean as I can. Mm. And I'll just kind of slice that. You see how that grind on my knife is making that easier?
Yeah.
It does a little bit more delicate work. It's not as robust and tough as a convex edge like yours, but it is much better for this fine work. One trick that I do, I think I learned this from Alan Kay, but I'm not exactly sure. I'm pretty sure he's the one that showed me this, is I make a little volcano. Make it look a little open at the bottom. Does it make a big difference? I don't know, but it's what I do. I feel like it gives you a little bit bigger coal and gives the coal a bigger base. So that, my friend, is a good looking notch that if you do everything right and the materials are dry enough, you'll get an ember. So I take it in my two hands and I rough it up like that. In this process right here, I can feel it in my hands. I can feel the warmth that I'm generating from the friction of me doing that, and that's helping to dry this out even further. Now you see how much finer that got?
Yeah.
Love it. And I'll tear it apart. See that? Just tear it apart, fluff it up again, and then I'll ball it up again, and I'll do it again.
Yeah.
This isn't ready yet, but imagine it was. I would create a bird's nest, something that a bird would be happy to live in. Mm-hmm. And I would take this very fine stuff that fell off. I stick it in the middle, and that's where my coal goes. Make sense?
Yeah.
Generated enough dust. All that hard work that you've done to create the dust is perfect. Now you just need to ignite it. So after you're done resting, when you're ready to go, now all you got to do is rip it. Go for it. Really get it hot. Reality of friction fire, right? You need perfect materials. You need
Some napalm.
yeah, you need drier conditions. It's not 100% success.
The spindle and I and the bearing block in
Not
hand.
dark enough.
Not going anywhere, no fire.
No warm fire.
No one. So sad.
Keep a moving, Dan. Keep the bow a moving, man. Don't you stop, Dan. Oh, you almost got an ember. Here we go. Oh, Dan, can't you see your spindle flying free? Flying through the air far away from you and me. There goes my fire. My warm, warm fire. And he's like, hey, I wonder if the cup would be a good bearing block. Oh, I'm not going to waste time. I'll tell the guys tomorrow that it's a good idea, and then we'll see if it works.
And then we'll know. Boy Milspec, this is his fire starting kit right here. This is what he brings along. Here's the deal, guys. We've got to go back. It's not far back to the trucks, right? It's not that far at all. But in order to make it more fun, I figured what we would do is we would simulate an injury in a wild place. So it's not too far to go, but we might have a man like Knob over there. Perhaps, if he wanted to volunteer, that has a bad back. Maybe he fell, and now his legs are completely useless, can't move them, excruciating pain every time he does it. How can we get Knob from here? I want to get to the river first. So what we got to do is we got to get Knob. The goal, mission one, is to get Knob from here to the river without hurting him further. So here's the deal, guys. Just like yesterday, or not yesterday, day before yesterday when we came in, I see a lot of people going in lots of directions, doing lots of random things. How do you know that he's not doing exactly the same thing you're doing? You know what I'm saying? So maybe we convene first and we make a decision and be like, this is what we need to do. This is our situation. This is what we need to do. This is the plan. I need you to get this. I need you to get this. Make that happen.
It's coming your way, Chris. Erica's ass right there.
What are those, Wranglers? Man, you look good.
Yeah, man. Yeah. A little bit of, yeah.
I'll tell you what, I'm not a gay man, but
Yeah, here in the woods long enough.
but I love to watch you leave.
One pole right through the center. Like so, fold this over. Pick this pole up. Bring it. Like I said, this is not going to be, you want his back on the poles. You do not want like this hammock effect. Okay, that's not what you want. Fold this back over like that. 550 cord through these grommets and then just tie it around the other pole handle over there. You're not going to let his head move. All right. So, and you're going to be the counter. Can you lift this leg? Help him if he needs to. All right. So then I'm going to take him and I'm going to grab him like this and I'm going to roll him over on his side. Okay. We're going to gently roll him back over. This might be a little bit uncomfortable, but it's got to happen. Okay. Roll. Okay. We're going to roll him in right there. All right. Now we're going to put his feet down.
Tell my wife and kids I love them.
All right.
We get around it.
Nope.
Not gonna happen. Not gonna happen.
52.
Somebody grab that.
Here we go. Mag.
Square knot.
Warfare's 220 rated.
So wrap it around your wrist like this.
Yep. Yeah, that's exactly.
Just go around one time. You don't have to wrap and wrap
Yep.
and wrap. Just
And just
literally
hold it.
one time, and then you barely hold on to it, and you can lift hundreds of pounds with almost no effort in your hand.
Yep.
Yeah, really, really easy. Eventually, you might go numb, but but you might have to take a break. But it's so much easier than having to grip that thing the whole time.
3. Yeah, slick.
Yeah.
Slow, slow, slow.
Hold down a little, Matt. Good. Yes, no? Yep.
Good job, guys. All right, we'll call this good. We made it. All right.
Look down. Underneath.
All right, so here's the situation now, guys. He is shivering really bad now, uncontrollably, due to the state of his injuries, due to the climate around us. He might be a little bit wet.
You're gonna be sweating in a minute. You smothered him.
There's lots of things that we can do to keep him warm. One, we can add layers to him, insulation, things like that, Mylar blankets, all that stuff is fantastic. But just for an added challenge, just for fun, because I like fun. I want you guys to start a fire for me.
So I'm about to make a leadership decision. Our mission is to get Knob warm. And so instead of putting the fire location far away from Knob, I decided for our group, autocratically, that we're gonna put the fire close to Knob so that the warmth does not have to travel very far at all. I want to get as much warmth towards him as possible, but not too much warmth where he starts to complain about the burning.
His flesh burning.
About the flesh burning. So we don't want to cook Knob, but we do want to raise it to a warm temperature, not a cooking temperature.
But it has been very wet and very cold and very moist down in here in the bottom land.
Very moist.
Very moist in the bottom land.
It's very moist in the bottom.
It's very moist in the bottom. Sometimes it's not good when it's moist in the bottom.
I don't like it when my bottom is moist.
Fire hates cheaters. It doesn't like it when you take shortcuts, and the more you need it in a hurry, the harder it is to get, which means the more important it is that you slow yourself down and you don't take any shortcuts so you don't waste your effort, because fire hates cheaters.
It's not even moving it. Okay, I'll take it. There you go, fur.
So we have successfully created what I would call a sustainable fire. Throw some more kindling on there and it's gonna go, no problem. All right guys, thanks so much for watching. Make sure you hit that thumbs up for me and subscribe if you haven't done so already. This weekend was all about just getting out in the woods, enjoying each other's company, and maybe possibly learning some new skills. Failing a little bit, learning from the failures. And I think we've all kind of picked up a few things here and there just from the conversations around the fire, and I thought it was really, really enjoyable. But thanks for watching again. Hit that thumbs up, and we're going to the waffle barrel. Waffle barrel.
All right, Jason,
All right,
demonstrate
so
the technique.
You go
Spin it around.
here,
Yep.
here,
Yep. Grab those.
and then your arms are already through the loops, the straps. Oh,
Yep.
look at that.
Squat down. Throw you look up.
It's all in the legs.
Yeah. Squat down. Look up. Toss it over.
That's fantastic. I never knew that. My whole life, I've been putting a backpack on wrong. Wow, that's great.
Thank
buddy.
you. Unfortunately, now I know what we're working out doing Monday.
No, is that
Never knew
Everybody
that.
bring your packs for workout. And
What are we doing?
we're looking for honey buns because Elijah apparently has never had a honey bun. How un-American is that?
I want to know how you can live 17 years on this planet and not eat a honey bun.
Exactly.
There she is.
There we go. Thank God for Hostess. All right there, honey bun. There you go, your first ever honey bun.
Oh,
yeah. Let's see what it's like.
Let's see what it's like.
All right.
Let's
There we go. Yep.
Honey bun eats his first honey bun.
Yeah.
Oh, look at that. What do you think?
I like it.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Of course you like it.
Of course, it's a honey bun.
If you
It's
didn't
like a
like it,
glazed
you'd be
donut.
walking home.
This life will be changed forever.